And she does not jump well except on turf, she
Or
told me.
grass, or dirt, yeah.
Grass, dirt, and turf, which is a problem because most dog shows are on mats. So would you just show me what she looks like going over these two jumps?
Get it?
Here's what I know about dogs. They're different than horses. And I got a lot of information when I was starting out in dog training about jumping from horse people. And I realized at one point that it wasn't working for me, but kind of the opposite was working. And that's what I want to show Anne, just to see if it's helpful. Okay, so I was trying to find a distance between the jumps where she lands, takes one step, and jumps again. Okay, and so do that for me again. Okay, just let her do that. And if you want, you can start her closer if you want to. Okay.
Wait. I know, should have been a step.
Go ahead.
Hey,
Okay. Did that look pretty comfortable to you, Anne?
that looked good there.
Okay. Do you mind if we put it up a couple inches?
Not at all.
Okay.
Can I back her up too a little bit? Where she
Yeah,
has to
sure,
stride?
sure. Where's my 2-inch board? So, Anne, here's what I found out completely by accident many, many years ago. I could get dogs to jump 2 jumps in a row without stuttering because they would adjust their stride into the first jump in order to jump the second jump. Horse people talk about ground poles, and they put the ground pole in front of the jump. That's backwards for a dog.
Yep.
You gotta lower the second jump, not put ground poles in front of the first jump. And I think it's because of where their eyeballs are. What do you think? Horses are looking out of the side of their head, and dogs are looking forward. And so when you put ground poles down for a dog, they look at the ground, which we don't want them to do. We want them to look at the top of the jump. And that was another thing I was going to ask you about, Anne, is that a lot of times for dogs, I put something of contrasting color on the top of the jump because it draws their attention to what they're jumping. Have you messed with that at all?
I mean, we do a lot of colored poles because we do the agility.
Okay. But you don't do agility except on turf and dirt, right?
The facility where we train for agility has bad turf, and I have to spray her feet or she will not play there.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Let me see what this looks like. And I don't want to waste Anne's time. If this isn't going to help, then we'll just go on. But I'm just curious. Hey. Okay. I was perfectly comfortable with that. Were you?
That was good. That's not usually what the behavior I get.
Okay.
Usually I'll get, where she kind of took those 2 short steps, she'd make that 5.
Okay. But she did it good today. And have you been typically jumping her over more than 2 when you put jumps in a line?
On a rubber surface?
Yeah.
We did because she was not giving us this at 2, but yes.
Okay.
This is good. I mean, she's showing good. So I know I had her here once at a match, and I had asked Adele what I could do about it, and she was kind of like, "Oh, she doesn't jump like that in agility?" And I'm like, "No." And then she worked the agility trial and saw her the next week, that just a couple days later, and she's like, "No, she doesn't."
Is that level?
No.
So is it this surface and
She-
regular
she's-
matting?
She is afraid of slipping.
Go ahead, try that.
She
So,
looks like
did
she's
we
afraid
spray her
of
feet?
Yes, she does.
Spray her feet today?
No, I did not spray her feet today. I did not bring it.
That's not level yet, you guys.
No.
Go ahead, just try it.
Hey,
No.
Good girl. I mean, that was fine with me. I wouldn't be upset by that. Okay, she took one little tiny step and do it again. I would say you can manage. And I also, if spraying her feet would help, I would always spray her feet.
the problem being the jumps is at the end. By the time we get to them, the spray is off. The spray doesn't last very long.
Oh, okay.
Hey!
Okay. The first thing that I'm going to tell you about it, first of all, I find it hard to believe. So what kind of spray are you using?
Firm grip.
What?
Firm grip.
Okay.
Use what they use for tennis. There's like a pad, there's like,
Do you care if I put it up another 2
Nope,
inches?
not at all.
oh.
This dog can jump anything.
It's
Just can't.
Yeah.
Whether or not she will.
We used to use it on, my dog for, when they were
Is that level now?
Yes.
Okay.
I've just been told I can't spray her feet right before she goes in the ring in obedience, and I'm like, I'm not sure how I can do this.
Why not?
You're not supposed to have anything on your dog in the obedience ring. That's what I've been told.
And nobody has food in their pocket either.
Who's gonna know? I might paint it with Coca-Cola. I'd probably be putting Coca-Cola on her feet, and painting it, you know.
Hey,
You know, Anne, I think she's being unbelievably careful.
and she is that.
And what's the problem? That wouldn't stop me. But here's what I've done in the past, Ann, and I don't know, you just have to play with it and let me know, and I don't wanna make you do something you don't wanna do. But what I've done in the past is that when I have dogs that are worried about this, I teach them to jump 2 jumps in sequence. Now, I want you to come over here, Ann, and I want you to sit her right here.
Oh.
And I want you to send her over those 2 jumps, okay? So we're doing directed jumping, but I would have 2 jumps in both directions. And so what happens, this is what I've observed, this is non-scientific, except that I've observed it with probably well over 100 dogs. We're gonna say jump, jump, she'll do, she's an agility
Oh, yeah.
dog, right? And then there's 2 jumps over there, 2 in sequence, 2 in sequence. And then when the first jump gets to full height, which we're only 2 inches away from, you lower the second jump. And the second jump ends up just being a pole on the ground. And they get used to the fact that I have to time my first jump and then take a stride and step over the pole. And so that's how I practice with them. And I've had many, many dogs that got UDs, but we always put a pole on the ground after the jump in training, so that they keep that rhythm and keep sort of with it. So just come here and tell her to jump and let's see what happens.
Why do we care that they got smooth rhythm and
Well, what happens is that the dog, knowing that they have to jump the second jump, doesn't throw themselves
Jump.
over the first jump.
Jump.
Okay, they can't just throw themselves over because they know they have to be ready to do the second one. How did you feel about that?
She took a good stutter step, but she was still better than she's been.
She didn't, I mean, she's not gonna lose any points for that.
No, not for
Okay.
that.
Can you sit her here? We didn't give ourselves quite enough room, and send her over the 2 that way?
She can do it. Get it.
I don't even think I'd call that a stutter step, I'd just call it adjusting yourself.
I got one that does that.
Jump.
Yeah. I mean, she's gonna go over.
Okay?
That's more of what I see. That really sudden, ooh.
That wasn't bad.
I mean, you would not fault that in the ring?
No, she doesn't. You're not gonna get faulted for that.
No.
I think it's worse to you than it is to the rest
And
of
it
us.
could be, it could very well be, but I mean, people have told me that she would get faulted. I mean, I'm going by, I'm not the expert.
Maybe she's so good.
Wait, there's judges all over the place here.
Maybe she's Joyce you. And if she's so good, they don't want you in the ring because they know you'll beat her.
The fact that you just said that, then you're off to me.
Okay, well, I think you got 3 judges here. They're all going.
stutter stepping.
I look at that.
That is
lot
tough.
worse out there.
Come right here.
Good.
She gets picking on the pivot.
And the next thing, you know, I would get her up to full height, then I would lower the second jump, I would put a dumbbell in her mouth, I'd let her do it with a dumbbell in her mouth. I have never found that doing more than 2 jumps is very useful.
Jump.
She gathered herself, is what she did there. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys around Greenwich Road. Monday night, Chris Zink is doing a webinar for us. He's gonna be talking about teaching your dog to jump. So, you remember, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so be there Monday night, ask her a question. You know, we can do this twice, let's do a video, we can show the video. Could you, have you been doing a video of it? Can I get that video for you before you go, do you mind? if we
My
show
phone, I
Chris?
can certainly give it to you.
Yeah, and we'll send it to Chris. I gotta send her all the questions today anyway, I'll send it to her and I'll say, can you respond to this?
There you go.
And see if she has some ideas for us. How about that? Is that helpful? Okay, I think you're adorable. Yes, sir.